Hey, Kate here. Let's talk Conan. Today, I have a bit of a different episode. I was on eBay, as one is, looking for some old relics of the 90s related to the late night show, and I came across an in the year 2000 book where I don't know if it's every single one of them, but it's a lot of all of these little in the year 2000s. And I decided, hey, I know it's supposed to be a remote review week, but what about a bit review? So, for this week's remote review, we're going to be doing in the year 2000. Really, that just means I'm going to be reading to you. So, if you're not into that, stick around anyways because you owe me. But I will briefly discuss the acknowledgments and forward and all that stuff, introduction wise, to the book itself, just because I don't want 15 to 20 minutes of me saying, in the year 2000. I just don't think that's fair to you. So let's just go ahead and read the acknowledgments, and then we'll read the introduction, and then I'll read some of the ones I really liked. So this is written by Conan O'Brien and the late night writers. However, the introduction and acknowledgments, those are written by Conan himself. So we're just going to start with the acknowledgement. Robert Smigel came up with the idea of making ominous predictions for the year 2000 way back in 1988. He and I performed the bit that summer in our comedy review, Happy Happy Good Show. Without Robert, this book would be a tell-all biography about my years as a child star. My producer, Jeff Ross, gets the show on the air every night and has been a big part of getting this book into your hands. I suspect him of embezzling, but that in no way detracts from his work on this project. Our head writer, Jonathan Groff, made the lion's share of creative decisions involved with this book. For his hard work and talent, I am rewarding him with a shockingly small cut of the pie. Our writers coordinator, Ruth Sinanian, cataloged and compiled our vast supply of predictions and has had to watch several of our writers put pizza down their pants. For many of our fans, the highlight of the year 2000 routine is the eerie falsetto wail of Richie La Bamba Rosenberg. He is living proof that castrating criminals can work. And finally, our eternal thanks to Buddha. Yeah, that's a Conan intro. So, the actual introduction, the future. It fascinates us, frightens us, and fills us with wonder. Throughout history, many men have tried to predict what lies ahead, but today, their once great visions seem sadly off base. Nostradamus claimed man would one day possess a terrible weapon, capable of destroying the world. Jules Verne thought we would have underwater boats, and H.G. Wells promised great flying machines. Couldn't these great soothsayers have come up with the words atom bomb, submarine, and airplane? I don't recall ever taking a great flying machine to Denver. Why is the business of predicting the future so difficult? The answer is simple. Only God knows our destiny. And Buddha, yes, Buddha, trust me, I'm as shocked as you are, will not reveal his secrets. Until now. This book is not just another merchandising scheme cooked up by greedy General Electric controlled staff of TV hacks. This is a book of events that will actually take place in the 12-month span known as the New Millennium. Guaranteed. If just one of these prophecies does not come true, we will return your money in full. Simply convert this book to an ion gas with your molecular destabilizing rod and inject the cloud into the nearest authorized geotropic tank. A slight burning sensation at the base of your skull will indicate your account has been credited. And now, let us look into the future, all the way to the year 2000. Conan O'Brien. In the year 2000 is one of those bits on the show that is probably a top three in terms of likability and rememberability. Is that a word? There's a word that I'm trying to say. I can't think of it, so I'm gonna move on. My mother, my father, my everybody knows in the year 2000. Holy! I just saw this book in 1999 was $11. I think I paid. Oh, I gotta check eBay. How much did I pay for this? I paid $12. Did I pay shipping on that? I did pay shipping on that. $2 shipping. I paid $9.50 for this book. I paid retail. Oh my. Wait, hold on. How much was 10.95 and 99? Jesus Christ. Okay, so this book was equivalent to $20 of today's money. That's insane. I don't think this is worth it. Okay, anyways, the very first one in this book is very fitting given recent events. In the year 2000, in the year 2000, the Pope will shock the world when he abruptly changes faiths, declaring, I'm a Zeus man now. Iraq will once again be accused of chemical warfare after spy photos reveal that they've been stockpiling Michael Jordan cologne. Charles Manson and Son of Sam will be paroled as part of the government's new "Let's just see what they'll do" program. Viagra will no longer come in blue diamonds, but in orange moons, yellow stars, and green clovers. If you don't know, the Pope died. And unfortunately, in the year 2000, I do not believe the Pope nor the FedEx Pope abruptly changed faiths. I do support the "let's just see what they'll do" program. Big fan of that one. Everyone on Earth will become flesh-eating zombies. When the flesh is all gone, they will be dirt-eating zombies. And after that, some will reluctantly go to Olive Garden. I actually want to point out they wrote the Olive Garden. I don't think it was ever the Olive. If it was ever the Olive Garden, it's really stupid. Fact check it live. Oh, okay. I once again am wrong. It was the Olive Garden, and that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. No longer embarrassed about his religious upbringing, Dr. Pepper will begin using his real name, Dr. Sheldon Weintraub. Scientists will discover the secret ingredient in Starbucks coffee, a chemical that makes people forget they're paying $4 for a cup of coffee. All right, guys, you already know the drill. We got to do a price check on that. $4 in real modern US monies. 770. We are not on track because the drink at Starbucks is like $13 minimum now. Every day's pain. A witch is arrested for destroying Michael Bolton's voice. Within hours, the President of the United States grants her a pardon and proclaims that day National Awesome Witch Day. Again, I mean, this is very realistic. I think they've nailed that one on the head. That could be coming any day now. Americans are shocked when the Joint Chiefs of Staff admit that sexual harassment is unavoidable in the military because, quote, all them guns just make us horny. Dolphins will no longer perform for our amusement, except for the ones at SeaWorld. They'll do as they're told. Jazz will be replaced by loud slurping noises. A new human emotion named Bleem will be recognized. To feel Bleem is to feel sort of a happy anger. Jigsaw puzzles will only come in 3 pieces, but they will be red hot and exotic. Toilet paper will be totally computerized at last. That one's feeling real and real every day, if Ketamine Musk has anything to say about it. Corn holders will be outlawed, but there will be more of them than ever. In an attempt to update its image, Disney will produce a hardcore gay porno film. Unfortunately, 2 of its co-stars, Chip and Dale, will be tragically suffocated. Jesus will return to Earth and lead an army of good against the forces of evil. On the cover of Time magazine that week, Jewel. The 4-day weekend will become standard, though most employees will be required to work 1 day each weekend, usually Friday. Crayola crayons will become so rare that anyone caught coloring outside the lines will be put to death immediately. Congressmen will be limited to 2 terms of 7 minutes each. There will only be 3 chickens left in the world, and they will be very neurotic. All schools will be replaced by a new building called the Smarty Maker. The Crayola crayons one, I don't know if anybody knows who I'm going to talk about, but there is an individual on TikTok, maybe Instagram as well, but mainly on TikTok, who is obsessed with the dandelion Crayola crayon color, which I guess is no longer made. However, they have an entire room dedicated to it, and I do believe they just got a tour of the Crayola factory. So if you ever need a good pick-me-up, just look up Crayola girl. Crayola dandelion girl, I'm sure it'll come up. Whatever. Fuck you. Oh, we have one that actually came true. The term politically correct will no longer be considered politically correct. Computers will be so small that thousands will fit in a teaspoon. They will be used to perk up the flavor of soup. The government will finally change the word orange to a word that's easier to rhyme. I believe that word is Trump, and that rhymes with dump. The Jack in the Box will be replaced by the Joe in your face. Watches will have an hour hand, a minute hand, a second hand, and a real fast hand that doesn't mean nothing. Wearing a t-shirt with the drawing of a tuxedo on it will be fresh and funny all over again. This one actually did come true. Unfortunately. I just got a massive flashback. Oh my god, my brother owned that shirt. I can feel it in my... Oh, I should have burned it. A woman will be president of the United States. Should have been. And a man will be president of the National Organization for Women. The color green will be renamed yellowy blue. Japan will be admitted into the Union as the 51st state. The Japanese will be caught completely off guard. Unfortunately, had this said Canada, it would have been another hit. Congress will pass a law making it mandatory for rivers to flow upstream. Rivers will respond with the big, screw you. The musical term, a 1 and a 2, will be replaced with, wait. Okay, now, a new kind of Chinese food will satisfy your appetite for 2 hours. North and South Dakota will merge to form a state called, oh man, that's one big Dakota. Getting up, walking to the kitchen, and opening a beer will all become Olympic events. Here's another one that came true. The presidential oath of office will be drastically shortened. The winning candidate will simply state, "Get a load of me." A badly drawn cartoon hamster will be elected to Senate. He will be indicted on federal racketeering charges, cleared, but still leave office under a cloud of suspicion. Also currently happening. A new way to rid our bodies of waste will be called Going Number 3. In a truly historic moment, Neil Armstrong's son will land on the moon. His memorable words will be, "This is one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. And Dad, I'm gay." I don't know why I went Southern there. It says a lot about me. Popular campfire songs will include Kumbaya, Old MacDonald, and We Serve Jarmar, our new alien master from the stars. A 500-page book of inspirational wisdom will ensure world peace for a generation, after falling on and crushing Saddam Hussein. Judicial reforms will allow defendants to enter pleas of guilty, not guilty, or guilty my ass. The moon will finally get its sweet revenge by landing on man. Canada and America will be united into one country called Mexico Sucks. There we go. I knew it was coming. This book is, I think, I'm not a mathematician, but I'm pretty sure this is about 92% accurate so far. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs will undergo a metric conversion to Snow White and the 3.8 Dwarfs. There will be no more professional hockey, but the Disney on Ice skaters will be allowed to body check. Kleenex will invent a tissue so soft and lotiony they will have to be wiped up by other tissues. At long last, a cure for the common cold will be discovered. Unfortunately, it will coincide with Ford Motor Company's development of a snot-powered car. The Ford Motor Company, I'm actually gonna change this one. We're gonna hear a live adaptation. The Tesla Motor Company will be disappointed by consumer reaction to its new subcompact, the Death Box. Getting on someone's nerves will no longer be an expression, but a means of mass transportation. The hairbrush will be replaced by a strikingly similar object called the Harry Goey Where I Wanty Stick. O.J. Simpson will receive a full presidential pardon. Sadly, it will be from a confused General Ford. Baby seals will no longer be hunted for their fur, they'll be hunted for revenge. Paris, France, and Paris, Texas will change places. The Louvre will thereafter be known as that dang barn with no cows but lots of fancy pictures. The Earth's atmosphere will be filled with a foul smelling gas when computers suddenly get tired of holding it in. Women's romantic standards will change so radically that an effective pickup line will be, "Hey, sugar, I wets the bed." The lovable Taco Bell dog replaces his famous slogan, "Yo quiero Taco Bell," with the more direct slogan, "Woohoo! Diarrhea Party, USA!" Women will admit the whole different from men thing was a big hoax to get free meals and drinks. I just think about that a lot. I abuse being a woman. Confidence in the US. Here's another really accurate one. Confidence in the US dollar will plummet after the motto "In God We Trust" is changed to "I can't believe it's not butter." Police in rural Wisconsin capture Bigfoot, but are forced to release him when he makes bail. Due to the declining number of champions in the world, Wheaties will change its slogan to "Breakfast of Sexual Deviants." Or, alternatively, in the year 2025, "Breakfast for Vehicular Manslaughters." Succumbing to intense public pressure, civic leaders from the Deep South will admit that for years they have been talking funny on purpose. The discovery of extraterrestrial life will create a revolution in science, art, and pornography, which is my favorite form of art. The polar ice caps will melt, completely flooding the Earth and destroying the set of Waterworld 2. Ill-informed aliens will capture two Earthlings to breed in captivity, Mel Gibson and RuPaul. Red ants and black ants will finally stop fighting and get down to some serious lovin'. Man will be able to travel through space at 10 times the speed of light after NASA develops a completely useless machine that can slow light way down. In an effort to bring more gays into the military, the US Army will change its slogan from "Be all you can be" to "You go, girl." The new Surgeon General will ban the use of the fat substitute Olestra, not because of health concerns, but because he really digs fat chicks. Teenagers will really alienate themselves with their latest trend, leprosy, with every other conceivable name having been exhausted. All hurricanes will be called simply "that filthy wet son of a bitch." Switzerland will no longer be neutral after its scientists develop a nuclear cheese. Time travel will be so commonplace that Domino's will change its guarantee to 30 minutes ago or it's free. In a rare exception to the First Amendment, the Supreme Court forbids anyone in the cast of Friends from ever saying, "We're friends off screen too." I have read about half this book so far, the ones that I wanted to. Some of them did not age well, not gonna lie. Some of them are a bit too 90s to reference. Sorry if you preferred those ones, but I wanted to kind of give it a general feeling, and you'll notice a lot of those didn't happen, so I will be blowing up my brain accordingly to the introduction. However, some things are so ridiculous in this world that they did come true. And it might not have been perfect, it might not have been exact, but they did happen, and that's awful. We live in a world that no man could have conceived, but we'll get through it. We have to. We have to get through it. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. I know I had fun, and I hope you did too. Thank you for talking, Conan.